What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But that don't even make sense. I'm the motherfucker that's putting my life on the line, not you. You ain't stepping your motherfucking ass in that ring. I have to pay to carry your belt. You should be paying me if you want to be truthful. The undisputed champion. I'm still the champion in the division. Because you know why? The only belt that's recognizable as the champion is the ring belt, baby.
With $225,000 going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund, which is to help former fighters in need.
Man, what's happening, people, man? It's your boy, man, Rick again, LIB Media. And listen, y'all know, if y'all been on the channel, y'all know Bud Crawford is my guy. I'm Team Bud all day, every day. You know what I mean? 10 times in a week. 500 times in 500 days in a year. 18 months in a year. Y'all know, whatever infinity number you want to make up. I rock with Bud. Now this is interesting. So Bud Crawford gets stripped of the WBC title for the super middleweight division. You know, he won the belts when he fought Canelo, and so he got stripped because his purse was $50 million and the WBC wanted 0.6 of the sanctioning fees, which would have been $300K, I believe. Yeah, $300K. And so they said they give him a discount, which because it's normally 3%, which would have been a lot more, but they gave him the 0.6%. Bud refused to pay them, so then he got stripped of the belt. I believe he got stripped of a second belt too. And so Bud, of course, as y'all can see at the video at the beginning, but Bud went off on them. You know, made a couple of points that I agree with, that I think boxing fans have been talking about for years, is that, yeah, it is too many belts. And that takes away from the sport. Now, also the flip side of the reason it is so many belts is because there's so many fighters and it's hard to get one fighting two for the belt all the time. But when one is fighting two for the belt, it's one of the most exciting things in boxing because it's the guy that beat the guy. And that's the thing we love to see. That's the thing that helps the UFC. There are less fighters in the UFC in each weight class, and so it's easier to get one to fight two. And when one fights two, also because Dana White does make them fight, when one fights two, it is a very exciting fight that everybody wants to see, and it is the true title fight. Now you have 4 belts, so you have 4 technically title fights happening all around. But the lineal belt, which Bo was talking about, the ring belt, is the belt that matters. And I understand why he said that, because also that is the belt you get from beating the guy. You can't just get the ring belt in the way you can get other belts, you know, however they strip the people and who they give it to and all of that. The lineal belt comes from you beating the guy that beat the guy. I think that belt has been around the longest. I'm not 100% sure, but that belt is the belt that he was referring to. And so he said, as long as he still got that belt, he's still the champion. Either way, he's still undisputed. We all know he's undisputed, whether he got the belt or not. You know, a lot of actual previous fighters like to play semantics. I get the semantics where it's like, you know, they be like, what's up, champ? What's up, champ? Those people are technically champions, but the community looks at certain people as real champions and other people not as champions. Obviously, when it's your favorite fighter, you're going to be like, oh, well, he's a champion, blah, 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 blah. But we know the fights that and the fighters that are looked at as real champions. I think Bud is trying to make a statement for all boxers, is that we don't need to be paying y'all money to carry y'all belts, the sanctioning bodies. The problem is the sanctioning bodies, as Mauricio, I believe is his name, stated, is that they were going to use a part of that money to pay for a retired boxers fund And so that is helping the sport and helping people who were previously in the sport. But also on the flip side is, I mean, you are paying somebody for you to have a title that you've got in the ring and fought for and won, right? So I do think if Bud is attacking the point, I think it's attacking where it's just too many belts. I'm cool with that. The sanctioning bodies, I believe they should get something, especially if they're using it for good causes, like paying for, boxers that retired and stuff like that. That is a great cause, and that is necessary because a lot of boxers, the ones that aren't super famous all the time, a lot of boxers leave the sport and they're, beat down and stuff from the sport because it is a brutal, tough sport to play. You know what I mean? Or to participate and compete in. So with that being said, you can't be mad at them for that, but you also can't be mad that Bud is making a statement and saying, "Hey, man, I'm always paying y'all this money just to carry around these belts, and Bud is undisputed multiple times, so he's had these belts and had to make these payments multiple times, and he decided that he didn't want to make the payment, and he wanted to make a statement. We'll see if people follow. It's hard to make a movement in the day and age we live in now. So like, we'll see if people follow along. I feel like somebody will just come and get WBC and they'll make their payments and be like, hey, this and that and this and that. But at the end of the day, I'm super interested to hear what y'all think because my thoughts is it is too many belts. In general, what belts you get rid of and all that stuff, I'm not sure. Should Bud have paid the money? That's kind of here or there. But I do think they need to find a way to say, even if they say, well, you can have these belts, but this belt has this belt weighs more than all the other belts. This is the belt you really want to have to say X, Y, and Z. Then it'll probably help the sport because people are going to be clamoring to have that belt, to have the name as champ. Like, I'm really the champ because I have the belt. And also they should do something like, when scheduling these fights and how much people getting paid, make the fight for the belt the highest paid fight in the weight class. Then people will say, well, I need to get that belt because that's how I'm gonna get my highest payday, right? Outside of that, the draw, the A side, B side, you can still do that. But I think kind of like flatten narrow the road to prosperity in boxing, and then fighters just have to fight the fighters, and then we all get the fights that we want to see, and and we can just go from there. But I was kind of all over the place, but that's my thoughts. This your boy Rick. This LIB Media, man. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, and y'all let me know if I need to go into this any further. Peace, y'all boys. Have a good one.